Hello and welcome to the Yarnings podcast. I'm Christine and I'll be your host. This is episode 65. Doesn't have a name yet. Maybe I'll come up with something exciting while I'm recording. It is August 28th, 2015. It is a Friday, and here in Vancouver, Washington, it is a cloudy but still awfully warm day. It is 82 degrees at this moment. It's about 5 o'clock at night. The AC is running, so you may hear a little bit of extra noise. I can see that my lights, the shade over top of them is flickering just a touch with the AC hitting it. And hopefully that won't be noticeable at all. Hello. I feel a little askew today. I have been a little under the weather, dealing with my back pain again, and so I may not sit here to record the whole episode in one go. Chairs are hard. So let's see how far we get, and maybe I'll surprise myself and we'll get through everything quickly and get this out to you. Okay, so let's move into some life stories, since I already started telling you. Let's see. So yes, I've been doing a great deal of resting since the last time I talked to you, which was, I think I recorded last Wednesday, so a week and a half ago. Little less than that. I have been trying to get my back to a nice state. I have been done with physical therapy, but my back has caused me a few more problems, so I have been doing a lot of resting. In the middle of that, there were some pretty serious fires in the Pacific Northwest, and so we had a couple days where the smoke outside was so strong that my throat got really raw. Everybody was having a hard time breathing. It was really thick. You couldn't see the trees in the distance very well, so it was really crazy. The major ones near us were at Mount Adams, which is couple hours east of us. Maybe it's not even a couple hours, but it's in the middle of Washington. And there is some major firefighting going on. The smoke here has dissipated. I don't know how well all the firefighting has gone, but we at least went down in temperature, so hopefully that's helping. I got to swim in my parents' pool the day that the smoke was the worst. We went and hung out outside. It's probably contributed to my throat being a little raw from the fire throat, I think is what I called it on Instagram. But my parents have an above ground pool that they have built a seat above it so that you can put your feet in, and it's pretty cool. It's at least 10 feet across. I want to say maybe it's bigger than that. It's a circle, and it's about up to here, so 4-foot pool maybe. So pretty fun. I didn't stay in it too long. It was actually cold inside the pool, and I waited until it was later in the evening, so it wasn't super warm, but the kids and Eric played for a long time, so that was a nice activity to do last weekend. And I think that's all of the life stories. Let's move into yarnings and adventures in knitting. Okie dokie. I am actually knitting on the first thing on my list, and I have just gotten to the stitch markers, so I will do my increases here. And then I can show it to you. There we go. So, first thing on the list is the Viajange. This is patterned by Martina Bain. It is a long tube, kind of a cross between a poncho and a cowl, but longer. Or you can wear it just as a scarf doubled over. It is in my lace weight Peruvian alpaca from my friend Angel, and it has gotten a little bit of love this week. I put it on a little bit bigger needle, but I didn't have one that was not in use that was bigger than this, or I might have one sitting here on my desk and I haven't dug, but I have put another one on order that's 50 inch, the biggest Chogu interchangeable one, because I think I only have one of those, and I think that one's on my sweater. So, yeah, it's looking good. And it makes very good conversation game knitting. I did notice, though, my little white maple stitch marker has little pink tinged edges on him. He's gotten a little bit of the pink on him. Oh, and that was my stitch marker dropping. Did I? Yep, I even dropped some stitches, guys. Let's fix this real quick before I set it down. That means there's a second stitch marker that fell on the floor. Okay, I will fix it here because I don't see it. I would have to climb under the desk. I wouldn't do that to you. Okay, so next thing, I'm going to reach out a frame because I'm sitting instead of standing this week. These I don't know how much these got knit on since the last time I saw you all, but I'm sure they got some. Let's see here. I don't know, maybe not. Yes, I knit on them at the pool. There we go, now I remember. I went and sat and knit at my parents'. So these are my, what did I decide? Toes in the Sand socks. I'm using the stitch pattern from Zigzagular Socks by Susie White of the Prairie Girls Knit and Spin podcast. I don't know if you guys just saw my screen flicker a little bit. It may have just started Time Machine. There we go. We're going to stop that, and hopefully that will have not caught a flicker for you guys. Sometimes it gets over enthusiastic and tries to do all the things. Can't do all the things at once. So, anyhow, the yarn is 716 self-striping, her HXC base, in the colorway Abitka. Buffy reference, as many of her colorways are, and I like them a lot. Not quite long enough to start measuring to see if I'm ready for a heel yet, but definitely have some socks going here. So that's project 2. Project 3, these are the same 4 projects as last week. Surprise! And I'm actually at the end of a row here. It is longer than my short needle cable for these needles. This is my Sushi on the Go Trillion Shawl, patterned by Martina Bain. Again, same as the Viajante, they both are by her. Has a nice scrape, has a nice set of eyelets here that will open up even nicer when it's blocked. And the color is, the yarn is Fat Cat Knits in their basic sock base in the Sushi colorway, inspired by the game Sushi Go. And it just is so much fun. And I noticed there's a section up here where the colors pooled all cool. You can see right in there the green on top of the green, the pink on top of the pink. And so that was fun to get to that point where they were lining up so nice. Yeah, just moving along on this one too. But it is, I weighed the yarn that I have left. I have 30 grams. So I knit, I think I said 40 last time I weighed it. So that is project 3. And because I'm so neat and tidy, I'm just making a pile of them. Okay, reach a little further. Careful of the back. Eek. All right. This is the thing that got the most love this week, of course, is my hand-spun American Oak. It is a pattern by Karina Spencer. The pattern is Poison Oak. I'm using my Sun Valley One of a Kind is the colorway. Handspun. Okay, let's try that again. Sun Valley's Superwash BFL handspun. That's what the pretty colors are. And then Madelinetosh Composition Book Gray in 2 different weights for the stripe. And it is coming out so nice. So you can see I divided off for the sleeves when I talked to you guys last time, I think. I will stick all those ends in there. And I have knit that far since then. I adjusted my rate of increases as I've gotten down here so that there will be more ease around my waist. The back is considerably lower than where the front point is, even when stretched down. The front point will come down very beautifully. You can see just how nice that center spine is looking. Even when I changed the yarn base in there, you can kind of see that there are 2 strands after that section of blue in the top there is where I changed. But it's not any noticeable difference. So it really wasn't important that I worried about when that change was going to happen. I am in love with it. I have tried it on. It's slightly just barely snug at the top, but my swatch relaxed just a touch, so it should be just fine. I think it was less than a stitch over 4 inches was what it relaxed. So that should block out very nicely. I still haven't hit the third of the skeins. So I had 3 200-ish gram, 200 yard of the singles. I'm sorry, of the cops when I was spinning each turtle, and I have attached them together. So when I got to the first change, I had just slip knotted those 2 together, so I left a nice space for where it was a little less plied at the very beginning of the ball, and I will do the same and then weave those ends in gently later. But I still haven't gotten 2/3 of the way through because I haven't gotten to the next one. This is just barely feeling lower, and I've still got that. So I may even get a little longer sleeves than I thought with this. I am super duper pleased with this, and it's very much potato chippy where I don't want to stop. I get to the end of a stripe, like, oh, let's start the next one. And that has been very good for me with being under the weather this week, because then I have been able to just keep working on it, and it's kept me entertained while I've been a little down. So those are my 4 projects. I have some needle adjacent stuff. I am wanting to get another shawl on the needles as soon as the Shushigo is finished. Maybe another Cladonia, maybe the Stella Luna. Those are both in my library, and the Cladonia I've knit before. Cladonia I actually have somewhere. I must have put them away. I have setting out a section of yarns that I was thinking about doing some purples. But I want to do something that has a little more of a challenge. Everything has been, sorry, that made noise. Everything has been very conversation knitty, and I would like a little, maybe some lace or some cables. Another thing that I didn't bring in here with me is my Midwestern Knits book by Karina Spencer and Allison DeCusen that I kickstarted, kickstarted. And that had at least one pattern that I really want to knit. but I haven't really looked through it very carefully. So there's one that I know I want to knit, and it's a really pretty vest. I'm thinking about ripping out an old sweater that doesn't fit me anymore and using that yarn because it's a DK. The pattern calls for DK. So I've got my brain thinking on that. I'm just excited to be excited about upcoming knitting projects again. I haven't been planning very far in advance with my knitting projects since before ZK, so it'll be fun to get back in the groove of that and kind of mapping out what I still want to finish for my goals of the year. I haven't even looked at my goals recently, so maybe I should do that too. So next time I'll try and show you guys the Midwestern Knits book. I'll try and remember to bring it in here. So let's move in to spinning a tail. All right. Last time. I finally washed and thwacked and dried my cheesecake yarn. This is that 4-ply. Came out really nice, as did the little bitty skeins that I had left when I did so many different techniques. It came out to be about a worsted in both grist and wraps bridge. And I really, really like it. So I washed that while I was washing my finished object. Actually, I have 2 finished objects, but this is the big one. So I was spinning on this last time I talked to you guys. This is my Leaf on the Wind. This is Black Trillium. I am a Leaf on the Wind, which is a Serenity Firefly reference. It's Superwash BFL. And like I said, I had a hard time with this one. It was kind of difficult to plot, difficult to spin. It wanted to grab really funny, and it wasn't super easy to ply either. I ended up doing a 3-ply. You can see the colors kind of. This side has a little more of the brown. Just looks like very nice leafy greens. It's coming out a little more blue because of one of the lights I have on over there, but you get the idea. So I did this as a 3-ply, which made it come out a little more even than it would have with something smaller. I like the barber poliness of it. And it also came out to be, we're a little bit heavy, worsted, but a little bit on the heavier side. This one, the plies were much skinnier than this one. So that's how these two can be different composition, but still come out, this one being slightly heavier than this one. I got 144 yards of 100 grams, and this one was 174 yards of 90 and 93 grams. So, yeah. I don't know what either of these will become yet, but they will be going in my hand spun bin, which I think needs to be upgraded into an actual size bin. Yay. So that was my first spinning finished object. The other one is back here. This was my small little diversion where I wanted to see what would happen if I spun some straight Tussa silk and added in some purple stellina. So this was a test. This was a, where did it go? From Gail's Art, I got 1 ounce of Tussa silk in this green color, and the Firestar sparkle is purple. So I was calling it Strong as Hulk. And I got 78 yards, 28 grams. It's not very even. I did ply on the fly with my Turkish. The stellina is not particularly even, but it really was just an experiment. So I think I'm going to make some sort of a rustic neck thing. Maybe a necklace. It's nice and strong, and it's a nice color. So I think that this will be something small, maybe a little collar. No. I haven't washed it yet. I finished it this afternoon. So that was a fun little diversion. And now I need to pick my next spinning project because I'm enjoying it so much. So yeah, I showed you guys the Valence Gummy fiber last time that I think is going on the spindle next. So that is spinning a tail, and let's see about some knitting community. If I don't finish recording this tonight, which it doesn't seem like I'm going to, I think I will put knitting community at the end because I will do the prize drawing. So let's actually move into Sagas of Geekery and now playing. I don't have any of my stuff up here to show you, but I got Legendary Secret Wars, the new expansion for my Legendary deck building game. This is a new expansion that has 350 new cards, so you can have new heroes, new villains, some new techniques. You can play as the mastermind, and it's really cool. I still have a bit to learn. It has some really interesting new stuff, and I'm quite excited about it, and I'm going to be making some dividers for these new cards like I did with the other ones. I need to figure out need to get into all my files and do that again, because that was a while ago that I made the dividers. I'm trying to remember how long ago that was, but before the beginning of the year, I believe. Yeah. So I have Guardians of the Galaxy expansion and now this new Secret Wars expansion. And what I did was I made dividers that have the heroes' names and their skills. And then I made all the different villains and groups and all that. It makes it so much easier to sit down and play a game when everything is divided up and you can just say, okay, we're playing with these 5 heroes, this villain, these henchmen, and this scheme. And then you know which things to pull out. Perhaps I will show you some of that next week. We also played Microcosm. Eminent Domain Microcosm. So it's a little small card game. Eminent Domain is a bigger game. This is just a card game, so it is fast to play. You still have a little universe that you're building, and it's very nicely done. I think it's TMG, and it's a really cute little game. And if you just want something small, I think it's just 2 players, and so that works great for us. Now watching, continuing Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2. We are almost done. We just passed the episode that if I had had Avengers Age of Ultron, I would have watched it in line with those episodes, but it is not coming out on Blu-ray until October. So I just decided I'm zooming along to the end of Season 2, so I'll be ready to start Season 3 in the fall. Oh, that's coming up close, isn't it? Wow, I guess I need to start looking at, it's probably the end of September, so it's pretty exciting. I would love it if I could get Agent Carter on DVD before that so that I could rewatch. I also watched a lot of West Wing this week. My brain was not feeling up to doing anything more ambitious than something completely out of my norm. So it just turned into watching episode after episode while I was sitting on the couch recovering, and that was really, really nice. I really like smart, intelligent, competent characters, and this show has a lot of them. Okay, now reading. I did a bunch of looking at my comic book reference guides for not only the characters in Legendary for our new stuff. Oh, also we watched X2, the second X-Men movie. And so I was looking at those characters as well through my I don't remember what they call them, but they're encyclopedias of Marvel characters. I have one that's really thick that I think I showed you, and then one that's smaller that's just the Avengers. And eventually I'll have to get those back to the library, but right now there hasn't been anybody else waiting for them, so I've just been holding on to them. We are also listening to Stuff by Terry Pratchett in our Discworld re-listen. Listen first time for me, except for the Tiffany Akings. And that is just wonderful. For Book of Cooking, I made homemade pizza last week and homemade mac and cheese this week. We also had Salad Monday, which might turn into a new tradition of a bunch of different easy things that we can throw together for a salad. Fanciful Chatter. This was where I stopped writing things down in my list. I am wearing something that was kind of a, let's see. This is the Himalaya sweater, but knit as a vest. This is a pattern by Mel, formerly the Single Handed Knits podcast, now of With Mel. She goes by Melski. She's Emski Knits on Instagram. I knit this, and when I knit it, it was kind of small for me then. I have changed sizes a bit since then, and I was never happy with the fit on it. The shoulders do not want to stay. This was of no fault to the designer. I chose poorly on a size, and then I got bigger than that, and I wanted to just use my 2 skeins of yarn, which wasn't quite enough for the next size up. But I really like some of the seam details. You can see the colors were slightly different between them, but it still looked really neat. I really enjoy the stretchy stitch pattern on the bottom, but my finishing work was not awesome. There are still ends hanging out because I had to tie up my buttonholes. They were too big for the cute navy buttons that I found. So I haven't decided if I'm going to frog this. I probably should, but I pulled it out to show you guys, and it was a different space of my life. I have things from a variety of different sizes, and this was one of the ones that I chose to knit when I was at my smallest point. It wasn't a sustainable small point, so it's not somewhere that I plan to go back to. I really like the yarn though, so I might rip it back out. I'm not sure. It still was only going to be 800 yards, so I'm not sure what I would still make with it. Maybe a shawl. Maybe I can make a shawl with it. Something I would really like and wear it around my neck. So maybe you guys have seen this now, and maybe I can even make something that uses these fancy navy buttons. There's nothing fancy about them, but they match so nice. Maybe I could do like the gothic lace cowl that has buttons. Might not be the right gauge, but something along those lines. And then I'm just wearing really basic makeup. I've got my now discontinued Dark Darling lip dye from Perfectly Posh. My necklace has a bee on it because my last name is Beeson. This is from Miss Pearl, who makes tons of awesome stitch markers. I have some of her things sitting right here. This is one of her tins. There's not actually any of her stitch markers in here. I have them in so many of my projects. Let's see. These are all some sets of hers. I have probably 10, 15 different little sets of things of hers. She is local to me and is always at Oregon Flock and Fiber. I got things from her at Sock Summit, and yeah, she is really cool. I really like her style. I like her cases. This one especially just makes me smile when I see it. I have a small one that matches, and I feel like my knitting design makes me a little bit of a fashion designer, and so this kind of went along with that style. And it's pink. So, this is one of her little tile necklaces. All right, the happiness continues. What do I tell you about today? It's been a hard week being down with being sick. I think it was a little bit of a summer cold, the ends of the scratchiness from the fire, but mostly my back. So I'm trying to stay upbeat. I'm sure you can hear it in my voice. It's been a hard week, but I am resting. I can see improvement each day that I rest, and so I felt like it was really important to give myself that rest before jumping back into exercise, because obviously last week I jumped back into exercise too quickly after I hurt myself. So hopefully this coming week, all the resting that I did this week will help me moving into the next week, and I'll be able to slowly get back to being more active again and doing the things that I want to do and being able to do my yoga. And I'm really excited about all of those options and how I don't even know. I have to be careful to not expect that I can do everything I want to do, because that's one of the things about fibromyalgia. I just kind of gotta temper that a little bit, but still have hopefulness that I will enjoy whatever I'm doing. And that's probably my big key. Well, it looks like I made it through all the things. So I guess the prize drawing for the very colorful yarnings will go on with the next episode, unless I do a little teeny tiny postscript here. But it is almost 6 o'clock. My husband will be home for dinner soon, and I need to do a grocery list for this weekend, so I better get back to that. And what I really want to do, this Carol is bugging me, what I really want to do is sit and finish the episode of West Wing that I started watching before I recorded. We'll see. All right, guys. So let's see. You can follow me around on the internet. I am Christine with a K on Ravelry. I am KDLB, just the letters, on Instagram, Twitter, and I might even try some Periscopes. I just have learned about Periscope. I've watched a couple of them. Java Jenny, Christy of It's in a Snit, and Amy, they all have done them, and I have joined in, and so I might be doing some too. So I'm KDLB on Twitter, and that's all connected. You can see the Yarnings podcast group on Ravelry, and the show notes with links to everything that I talk about is at yarningspodcast.com. All scooched together. All right, guys. Until next time, that's the story. Bye.